Okay. Hey, guess what?
Did I change my shirt?
I'm gonna mute you.
I'm gonna share.
I'm gonna turn you down because I'm on live right now. So I'm gonna try to get some people on.
Okay. Wait for me to share your Facebook. Yeah, friends timeline.
I'm gonna send.
Because
Let's see.
the link there to the actual bill. Are we doing this TikTok or are we doing this Facebook?
What do you want to do? I'm doing TikTok.
Well, no matter what, I'm sharing it to y'all from Facebook.
Okay.
Because the only place I have, he's got a link there that's got information with the actual bill.
Good evening, Robin. How are you? Thank you for joining in.
Where are you? Do you see any of that language?
What are we talking about?
The post that he did.
I don't know who he is and where this is.
All right, let me go back, and I'm doing it right here because there's a link.
Send it to me on Messenger. Oh, I got it right here. Okay. Learn more about Adam's story.
But is the link hyperlinked? It may not be.
Mm-hmm.
It is on Facebook.
Good evening, everyone.
Is there.
I'm doing okay. We've got a gold star emergency here, so I've got a wonderful, beautiful gold star mother here with me on the phone who we really need a lot of help right now getting some attention on this story. This is Tracy. Give me just a second. I'm trying to still get some folks on here. I'm just gonna got my friend Tracy here. We've got this is my friend Tracy here. Tracy, why don't you introduce yourself? Just say your name.
Hi, Tracy LaPorte.
Yeah, Tracy LaPorte. How do I say your name again? Your last name?
LaPorte.
Yeah. Okay, so we're just I see the Brandon Act is on. And hi Terry, how are you this evening?
I'm tired, but good, thank you.
Man, I'm tired too. It's been a really exhausting week, and I know Tracy has been working overtime for Adam, her son, and also for actually our entire country.
Yep.
To be quite honest. Right now, we only have 2 viewers, so we're just trying to, let me see if I can get some more people joining in. Robin, thank you so much for staying with us. What's that?
2 plus size, or?
Yeah, actually, we've got the Brandon Act, and we've got Terry of the Brandon Act. So I'm looking at the Brandon Act up here on my live feed, and then, of course, Terry's right here of the Brandon Act. And then I have one other awesome viewer. Her name is Robin. Robin, where are you from? Oh, that's right. Robin, you're from you were from Scotland, right? Didn't you tell me you're from Scotland? Well, anyway, Scottish, yes. Well, anyway, let me just, let me introduce you to Tracy. Her son, his name is Adam. And can you tell us a little bit about Adam, Tracy?
Adam is my firstborn son. He joined the Army, gung-ho to be infantry. all excited. And he was hardcore, and he went by Two-Step. Two-Step is his nickname. And he was in the 164, and he went to Iraq, and he had been deployed for quite some time, over a year. And he got to come home on July 4th once for R&R, and so that was great. My biggest fear was when he was there that something would happen. He got home, many prayers, and just as he was deploying again within 48 hours, he'd been through all the training you have to do before you go to deploy. He was taking his motorcycle to his buddy's house to leave it for a year. On the way, a driver with a long history, repeat driving history, that has hurt others, rented a vehicle, violated a traffic sign, suspended license, so vehicular homicide. And the way that she got the car, because she had just wrecked her car into someone else previous, so she knew that you can go to a rental car agency and you can rent a vehicle because they do not check your license. They do not validate.
Oh my gosh.
They look at them and you assume because they're asking for it, but they do not validate. There is no law. Not anywhere in the United States, period. So it doesn't matter.
So there's not so there's not a law that requires that you have to have a valid driver's license?
There is no law. None.
Okay, that is shocking to me. That doesn't even make sense to me.
It's common sense to me, but you know what? Until it took my baby, I didn't know either. I assumed, too, that when they asked for my license, there was a reason other than you got to be 21 or something? I mean, come on, and when we're not even validating a license. But 21, I mean, does make sense. It's not even just about my son in the military, though. What I don't get is we've got people that if they're wanted, we've got people that if we've got terrorism, we've got this. We have the military for a reason, right? What about knowing what's going on and who's actually on our roads and renting these cars? We have no way of knowing and tracking those people they are tracking because we're not validating that mode of transportation. Mm-hmm. So
what do they have to lose? What do these companies have to lose by not requiring a valid driver's license?
Technically, they do not because they have an insurance company when you rent. So the insurance company has to pay out no matter what. For instance, in a case, someone's killed, then you could turn around and that insurance company would have to pay for the damages. And if however much insurance they had, that rental agency. So people that are losing out, ironically, are the insurance companies still have to pay, and the rental agencies get out of everything. So they're not losing at all. As a matter of fact, they already charge you. They already charge you for this service because they already have it in place, the technology.
Hey, real quick, just a second. Hold on a second, Trey. Listen, hi, Jonathan. How are you? I'm so glad that you're here. Hi, Pain Hub. Thank you so much. You are not late. We just kind of popped on. This is a Gold Star emergency. Okay? And the reason it's a Gold Star emergency is because we have a Gold Star mother here. Her name is Tracy LaPorte. She is the mother of a beautiful patriot. His name is Adam. He went by Two-Step.
Yes.
And when did Adam pass away?
February 1st is his anniversary day.
Of what year again?
2012.
Okay, so you've been fighting since 2012.
I had to fight in court because of the lady that killed him.
Okay.
And her history and just to even get her prosecuted. And of course, you know, in the beginning, when you're military, you have your own investigation with the military. So that's why it took so long.
Yeah, it takes forever because of all the different investigations. Now,
yes.
Really quick.
And military, both.
Because you had to deal with the civilian side of things and the military side of things. So, what happened with your son? Let's just I want some of these viewers to see or to meet you now that we've got some folks on, a few people here and a few very important people. Jonathan is a friend of mine and Terry's and hey Jonathan, say hi to Terry. She's right there. We love you, Jonathan. And Jonathan is he's with the Army, and he's one of our favorite patriots because he's so supportive and loves us so much.
Oh, nice.
And so anyway, Tracy, Terry, he says, "Hey, Miss Wonder Woman." Isn't that funny? I love it. Okay, so now that Jonathan's here, we can all get started. And now that Pain Hub is here, we can get started. Okay, so Adam what happened to him was that he was in a accident. He was riding a motorcycle, and a young lady that did not have a valid driver's license, who had rented a vehicle. I'm not sure exactly what happened on the accident side of things, but
it's someone with a repeated history and had a suspended license and should not have been able to rent that vehicle, but someone that, you know, the wrong people know where there's no law. So she knew she could go rent this vehicle.
So because they do not require a valid driver's license in order to rent.
So they don't check a license. They do not validate it through anything to make sure it's actually a real driver's license, or that it's not suspended, revoked, or that you're a criminal of some sort. That, you know, there's all kinds of reasons. But they validate it. They look at it. So they facially will look at it, and then that's it.
Yeah, they don't go a step further to see if you have a restriction or something placed on your driver's license to where it wouldn't allow you to drive legally.
Like he should not have been driving.
Kind of like
she got those keys, he would not have been killed. They have the system in place. Technology is there. They scan your license literally. You're already being charged for it.
Right.
$50 billion in 2019 because they kept the money that we're paying them already. So, and honestly, there's no real loss there, except that, you know, they could keep that money instead of running a license. So they don't have to. There's not a law. So if you go to a rental car agency, have you noticed that you're not going to get the management to check you in on your rental car or anything? You're going to get the worker that may not have that much experience, or they do, but we're letting them decide if this person is getting a car. Well, of course. I mean, there's no law. We don't check licenses, and it costs more money. So, but it doesn't. It costs $4.99, and then they charge you $9.99. But you're already paying. So,
and they're already making a buck off of it.
They need to validate licenses of anyone that's going to go rent a vehicle. We should not have just whomever able to go out there freely and rent a car.
So the Two-Step Act would actually not just help soldiers, military personnel, but it would help everyone. Like everyone, civilians and military alike. So we need to look at, okay, so let's I mean, like, there's so much to cover, but like, what do we need to do right now about it? Like, what could people do to help out? Like, tell us what happened this week for you.
Okay, so right now what happened was it was going federal. And then with everything changing in politics and COVID, we had to take a step back. And so now we're at the state level. And I'm in Texas right now. So I decided, okay, I'm going to jump from where I'm at. And it's House Bill 3865. And in House Bill 3865, the second step to that, and his nickname's Two Step, is you have to validate and run a driver's license through the system, through the DMV or a third-party service provider that validates the history of a driver, basically running it through the system. Mm-hmm. So it's very, very simple. Literally, it's that simple. It's less than maybe 4 sentences right there, because it does cover everyone. It covers, like you said, I mean, any of our families, any of our friends, anyone out there with a heart driving down the road, and here comes so-and-so that is going to, I think about, they put these things on these cars and you have to blow in them if you've been drinking a lot and have a history. Breathalyzer. Then you can go rent a car and use a license and just rent a car. So there's the wrong people know about this, and I found out only because my son was killed. So what I have found is that everyone, and I mean from politicians to my family to everyone, has said to me, no, they do. They took my license. And I say, yeah, I know. I thought the same thing, but I found out because it killed my son. Mm-hmm. So, unfortunately, they are not validating a license.
So it makes you think that they're doing that job, right, to protect, to just be like the next level of protection. I mean, you just assume it, right? Probably.
We assume because they ask for your license and they look at it. So they facially validate. Whoever's at that counter is only looking to see if it's expired. So they are looking at your license to see if it's expired. Is this license expired? Not even if it's fake. That's a whole nother subject. You know how you can get a fake license pretty easy. So, or you hang on to the license after it's suspended. There's so many things.
Or they just look at it. Because they're just looking at it. They're not scanning it or anything.
Expired.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. And you better have a credit card. And you got to be over 21. But you don't have to be legal in any way. You don't have to follow the rules. Just like when we're driving in our own vehicles, we cannot be driving around with, we can't do that. So how can you rent a car and be in a vehicle on the same roads, and that's legal? So unfortunately, we need it in there. And basically what I've been told is it's kind of a gray area that just people forgot. Mm-hmm. They must have just forgotten, and it's just slipped through the cracks. And
I just can't believe that doesn't even exist. I think a lot of people can't believe it. Even politicians that you've talked to have been shocked that there's not an extra safety measure. And it's not just to protect over, I mean, like, think about, like, to the degree that this could be a problem. I'm thinking about human trafficking. I'm thinking about terrorism. I'm thinking, like if we're not validating who is renting this vehicle, and then maybe they're criminal, they have a criminal charge against them or whatever. Maybe they've even, I mean, I don't know. God, I can't believe that.
And so much has happened, which is what happened with this lady, that they took her license and it was suspended. So not only that, of course, distracted drivers by using your phone at the same time as doing that, and running through a stop sign, doing all three of those. So fraudulently signing our name on the piece of paper they make you sign saying, you're a good driver, running through a stop sign, being on the phone, repeated offender in this area of a person that drives and is, injured others.
That's what gets me, is the repeat offender. I mean, I know a lot of the rest of your story,
yes,
which is another big, long conversation that maybe we can have. I hope. I hope you'll want to go there with me sometime there.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you have a very, like, it took, I think, a couple hours just to go through. I mean, any of our stories, right? Like, it when I go on here live, usually I don't get off after 3 hours, till after 3 hours, just because I can't shut up, because there's so many rabbit trails.
Right. Well, I finally went today to the Capitol. We're in session in Texas. Session is every 2 years here. In other states, all the other states, it's every year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at these big COVID tents, and there's all the, guard is there, and unbelievable today. And I go and meet with all these committee members, and each one of them literally looked and said, "What do you mean that there's not a law? There's a law." And it's, the deputy chief of staff, because the others are out on the House floor. But there's a committee that's going to vote. They have 180 laws right now to get through, and with COVID, that shortened everything. And so there's very little time. Session ends May 31st. So House Bill 3865 is sitting in a stack of 180 laws right now. And what it needs is pulled out. And it needs to be pushed down, and they have a hearing to say, does this go to the floor or not go to the floor? The hearing has been requested. But what we want is an interest outside of you knocking on the doors of politicians, and interest into calling into the office.
We need the people to come forward and pick up the phone and call these 12 committee members, right?
And even if it's not all 12, maybe just the head chair member.
Maybe take a friend and say, you call these three, and I call these three, or whatever.
Right. There's main member. So honestly, there's also one, and a very kind individual that I met with today. We met and left packets, and we did a lot today, and all great responses. But every response was at first, "What do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
That can't be right." And they're like that. I'm like, well,
but if we keep looking away, then there won't be any protection on that. I mean, let's not let Adam's life be in vain. His life has meaning, and his death has meaning. And we need to take action by just human kindness, by contacting, just like you said, even if it's just one. That'll be one more person that goes, okay, so people really do want this.
Well, yes, when people find out and they really realize it, and you explain to them, no, I honestly, common sense wise, there literally is, this is not being done just because you handed it to them. So once you break through that barrier, it's like, what do you mean? That's just unbelievable. So,
hey, Beast King, thank you so much for sharing this live video. We really appreciate it. And thank you so much for the presents, for the gifts. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Niles, for joining us. We're here talking with Tracy LaPorte. Her son, Adam, died in 2000. Golly, what did you say again?
February 1st, 2012.
Okay, I was going to say 13. I'm glad I asked. February the 1st, 2012. And, his death, we don't want it to be in vain. So we need your help to please contact. Can you tell us who we need to contact? Is there
There is a link that I just posted on Facebook and shared with both of you, actually, that shares the actual bill, that actual written information.
Terry, can you find that, what she just posted, and see if there's anything we can put in the comments here?
Yes. I turned the camera off, but I'm right here.
Okay, thank you. And so Terry's going to post in the comments here where you can go in order to get, I guess, the phone numbers maybe of these committee members that we need to contact now.
It's definitely going to show you the language. It's going to show you just how simple, no red tape, so that you can actually see what we're asking to be a law. From there, the head committee member, we would like to have individuals request at texas.gov. There's a link that the business department, there's different committees. So we're going to be asking in the next 24 hours that they contact and say, I have found out that we don't validate licenses when people are renting a vehicle. And I had no idea that this was happening. And so we kick it off here in Texas, and then we take it federal.
Okay.
So that we make it happen all over. So I'm right now waiting on that phone number. But as Terry's looking, there's several links. And Dr. Tim Wesley heads this up, and he does have a website at timwesley.com. He has a website, Dr. Tim Wesley. And so there's a lot of information about ADAM, the Two-Step Act. It's called the Two-Step Act.
Okay, so
the bill is 3865.
Okay.
But federally ongoing, it's attached. It's the Two-Step Act. So, but in Texas right now, Bill 3865 is sitting in a stack of 180 laws. And session ends 31st.
So we need you guys just to call your representatives, I guess. I mean, I would say the 12 committee members, but I mean, let's see here.
Get hold of representatives in Texas, state reps, your congressman, but your state rep levels, and let them know that, Texas is in session right now in the middle of determining which laws they're going to take out of this pile. And House Bill 3865 needs to be done. This is common sense. We need to validate licenses when someone rents a car.
It's common sense. It's so common sense that people don't even realize that it's not even a law yet. It's so common sense that what's sad is that it's so common sense. It's like a duh moment. And like, really, why should we have to have a law that makes this happen? It just seems like it should be part of the way it's ran, but it's just the way that's what happens. This shit like this happens where somebody dies, and then it alerts us all to, just how bad and how far we're dropping the ball. Not just for soldiers, but at this point, it's for everyone in the United States.
Correct. It's literally for everyone. I mean, he's military. Honestly, my biggest fear is when he was in Iraq and he was leaving for Afghanistan. So, not that someone was going to go rent a car and he wasn't going to be here.
Right.
Trying to keep it in here. It's been a long day. But the biggest thing that I have to get through is that it's just so common sense oriented that they almost don't believe you. It's like, no, I know what I'm talking about because unfortunately I had to learn by losing my son. You need to get a hold of the state reps, anyone in Texas that you can, and say, House Bill 3865, it is common sense. Why are we not validating a driver's license when someone is renting a vehicle? We should be doing this. This is just, it's systems there. There's no excuse. They don't have to buy technology. We're already paying for it. So it's so simple. There's nothing that could oppose it. This is not about politics on both sides. This isn't about people. It's all people. It's for all of us. You know, all of us that still are here with our hearts beating, thriving.
Because the next thing you know, your little grandmother's going to go driving down the road, and some, young person or old person or whoever, right, doesn't have a validated driver's license, and the next thing you know,
cause the death, yes.
Yeah, and cause a death just because their license hasn't been validated. Maybe they have a suspended license.
Or a history of types of alcohol abuse, or they have
reckless driving.
There's the fugitive situation. There's the attacks on the different countries. We've got a watch list, literally. Certain people, you can't fly. And we have all these things so you have to do to fly. But there's another mode of transportation that was here before flying, and it's been here for a long time, and that is the vehicle. So, hello, it just fell through the cracks, and it's not being done. So,
okay,
it needs to be done.
So, now, when is this being voted on?
Thursday morning, they are going to meet these committee members, and they are going to bring it up to there will be 12 of them meeting, and they'll decide on if HB 3865, House Bill,
so now this is
the ones to go to hearing. Once it goes to a hearing, then that hearing has to say yay, nay, then it gets to go to the House floor to be voted on while you're in session with our Senate and Congress here in Texas. So there's all these layers that I didn't even realize, honestly. There's a lot of other layers out there to fight and jump through and try to decide, the ones that are deciding which one are we going to pull, and we just don't have time, so we're just going to push this pile to the side.
Terry, you know a little bit about this, don't you?
Yes, I do. I do. And Tracy, excuse me for the interruption. This is only for Texas, correct, at the moment?
Right now. Now, I was going federal because I want it for everyone. I had gotten the attention of the office at the White House, and it doesn't matter who's in the president's seat. But unfortunately, with everything that's happened, and plus the transition, everything got stopped, so it's starting over. So we decided, because I had been contacted and doing some things in Texas, that, you know what, we can put this in as a bill right now, and then get it labeled Two-Step Act federally and take it from Texas. So by September of this year, if I can get these next two things to happen, to pull it out of the pile, push it through the hearing, by Tuesday, get it to the floor during session, we could have a law this September in Texas, everywhere in Texas, that they will validate a driver's license for anyone that rents a vehicle. It's not just renting vehicles. You know, people rent trucks, vans.
U-Hauls?
The motor trend, yes. But this happened to be a very popular rental agency. And, you know, our military bases are in sometimes less desirable areas. I love our military. But she knew this location very well, and so this was a location that even knew her history. So let alone, we don't have a law. But the people that we're trusting to stand back there are not even doing the job of just even checking out. Like, this is making no sense. you just wrecked this car and damaged and hurt someone, and now you want to rent this car. 2 and 2 plus, that's 4. But when you put the decision of someone's life in the hands of an employee, and they aren't allowed to make the law, they aren't allowed to make the decisions, they're just, they're doing their job.
Do they have quotas? I wonder if rental companies have quotas or anything like that, or if they get bonuses or anything for.
I'm not sure about.
I'm just curious about that.
But I do know, because I used to work in that. I would do housing for different companies coming into town, films, music reviews, and I did the housing and travel for them. So they do market heavily and get more for having, mass sales. So how they get paid on that, I can't answer that one. I don't know if they get bonuses. I don't know if it comes through commission. I don't know how, but obviously the management level does get some sort of perk by the franchise. So they're a franchise all over, and there's perks somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
I have never, actually, that's a very good question. I know that it happens, but I don't know that the lower level, when I say lower level, I mean, I have a 22-year-old daughter who could be standing at that desk to rent you the car. My daughter has no clue by looking at you, your history, and by looking at someone, that's judging too. So we're asking them to judge an individual and look at their license to see if it's expired and decide if they can have a car or not. So it's never a no. It's sales. We got to get the sales going.
Yeah.
So we're renting vehicles. We're thriving. Typically the individuals, that are there at the counter aren't getting paid what management is getting paid. It's, let's get more sales going, and, work harder. It's just wrong. It is, I have heard one individual say to me, well, we have the people at the counter, if they think something looks funny, then they'll run it, because they can run it, literally. And barely do they ever do it. That counter can decide they want to run your license because you're being charged. And so we're letting someone judge and say, you know what, I want to run this person's license today. But it's not daily.
How can you, that's like discriminate, like how can you do that? Choose one or the other. Just because somebody looks really nice and clean cut, or whatever this person's standard of judgment is towards another person, and they pass their standard of judgment, what's the standard?
Well,
you can't do that, really.
Expired.
Yeah.
I mean, produce a license if it's fake. I mean, heck, you could show me. I wouldn't know. Mm-hmm. If it's a fake license.
So all we're asking for is a law that allows
use the technology already in place.
Yeah, just uses the technology that we already have in place, scan the driver's license in order to determine whether the person is a valid driver. That's it. And it would have, that right there would have saved Adam's life.
If she hadn't been handed those keys, my son would have been in Afghanistan. And I thoroughly believe he would have made it in Afghanistan, just like Iraq, and was thriving. So, no, I never, ever expected, when he was in Iraq, that was scary. He's leaving for Afghanistan. That was a lot of fear. Never did I think I was going to get a phone call about this. And
right.
when they told me that she's a suspended license violated traffic laws, suspended license, underage children in the front, on the phone. I mean, all these things that is so much. It's distracted driving. It's suspended driver, ignoring the traffic laws, but renting a car, which should be illegal on that type of a license that she had.
Mm-hmm.
If they had been scanned it, and we had a law that said we have to validate that driver, she wouldn't have been in that spot that he was driving at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So it just would not have happened. And with, unfortunately, the people that know about this are the ones that are going and renting. Because I rent cars, though. A lot of us, the majority of us have experienced renting a car.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
it's their loophole.
People know that there's that hole.
Yeah, it's that loophole.
There. That is how they get transportation.
Mm-hmm.
They are fleeing from somewhere. We just had here in Texas a man who he took out his whole family. It was down the street from me, and took off, and we were on lockdown yesterday. All he had to do was go up to a rental car agency, show his license. We're on lockdown, but they're not scanning a license. Hello? How do you know why we're on lockdown, but we're not scanning a license, and all he's got to do is rent a car and drive, cross country somewhere and go somewhere else easily. He couldn't have jumped on a plane because they would have checked his ID, and he can't get away. But
it just makes good sense to do it from every perspective. I just don't see, except for the perspective of the actual rental company, who's making money off of it and all that.
Billions.
It makes good sense for all of us to have this pass. We need the two-step act to pass, friends. And so we need you to please pick up the phone tomorrow and call your representative. I don't know, if you're not from Texas, can you still call, just look up a representative from Texas and give them a phone call? Because we want this to be federal at some point. If it passes Texas, then it has more of a chance to pass federally. Is that,
Yes, but we're already working on the federal level.
Okay.
So we're already setting up appointments so that it's not just Texas. So this is everywhere.
We're not going to stop. We Gold Star mothers are not going to shut up. You can get used to our beautiful faces. Here, let me get these beautiful faces a little closer to you. Do you see? We are not going away. We are here to stay until we see a change, a real change. A real change. A change that needs to be seen and heard across this land. We are not going to stop. You can't stop us. You can't shut us up.
Yeah.
I will go out. I will paint myself blue and I will walk down the streets.
Put two-step act on your head because it's called
two-step.
Yeah. His nickname's Two-Step. I taught him how to two-step, and then his buddies in the army.
Hey, give us a picture. Show us Adam. Show us Adam. He's right behind you. I see him.
Right here he was a home on R&R. So when you're in the military, after you've been deployed a long time, you get a break for a little bit. And he came home on July 4th, literally. And that's me. He's got a smirk there on his face. Can you see that?
Yeah. I see how happy you are to kiss that cheek of his.
Yes. He hadn't been on the soil very long, literally. We had him. And then he had to go back to Iraq after visiting. Oh, I'm sorry. And, the fireworks scared him that night. Those were my fears then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not this. But I can talk about, we're starting to talk about really personally about him. So I kind of break up there. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
But can't explain to you how it is and what it feels like, or I don't want anyone else to experience. And unfortunately, Terry, Heather, you know the experience of losing your child. Should never happen. Should never happen.
It shouldn't happen on American soil, and it shouldn't happen at any of our bases, whether it's on American soil or foreign soil. And did you know that 75% of all soldier deaths are non-combat? Did you know that 25% of soldier deaths are combat? And did you know that 75% of those non-combat deaths, 93% of those deaths are on American soil?
Most people do not know that.
Let me say that one more time. I really feel like we need to digest this, folks. Okay, I'm going to speak very clearly here. 75% of all casualties, soldier deaths, are non-combat. 25% are combat, and 93% of the deaths that are non-combat are on American soil. What does that tell you? We have more people dying, more of our patriots dying on American soil than we have dying in any kind of war, battle, or anything else like that. What is going on? We need you, we the people, we need you to please, tomorrow, please call any Texas representative.
Yes, and you know, on Facebook, there is a page, The Two-Step Act. It's called The Two-Step Act. And Dr. Tim Leslie has timwesley.com. And
who is Dr. Tim Wesley? Tell us about who he is.
Leslie had ran for office multiple times. I had reached out to so many people looking for help, and they literally shut me down because it's like, well, there's no way this isn't a law. I've been laughed at, and I just couldn't take it anymore. And we crossed paths, and it was like it was just divine intervention, and I was just at the end of my rope. He is a professor of politics. He wears a lot of different hats. He fights for different rights for all sorts of different things, not just me. He has, I could not tell you how many laws he's fighting right now.
Okay.
For people. Mm-hmm. He's not in office. So he's a professor of politics.
And he's an advocate.
He ministers. He is a veteran that was stationed where Adam was and where Adam was killed, and knows that town and knows the system. And I happened to somehow get connected to him, I think through a mutual friend, through a military friend. And late at night, I just said, you know what? I'm just going to send out emails. And I shot out emails, and something resonated with him. And he lives outside of San Antonio's area, which is not where I'm at. And was wondering, I don't understand why you haven't had somebody pick this up, especially around where you're at. Mm-hmm. And I explained, you know, there's a lot of layers to this. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when you're in the military, you got to deal with that first. He was not at fault at all, but no matter what, there's a line of duty investigation. There are all sorts of things that we have to go through as the family. Not only did we just lose our child, but unbelievable things that you got to do. And then it was, I got to go fight in court because they weren't even going to prosecute the lady. She got off, just some probation time. Very
for a life. And for vehicular homicide.
Yes, vehicular homicide. It's in the police report and all right there.
Kind of like negligent homicide.
Let her go. Yes, and they should not have, but it has happened multiple times in this town. ironically, I got a call, and that's going to be another video at some point where this unfortunately, Ahmaud Arbery, everybody recognizes his name, where he was at. It's the same area, and I've got petitions out there because I was, fighting, and there's just a lot that's going on around the different little areas around the base, and it should have been picked up on way before. So there's a lot of layers to this, but actually the easiest part to this is it's everybody. It affects everyone at any time, any day, anything in the world that you could think of that is bad that can happen in this world, and already it does happen every day, everywhere. You just go rent a vehicle and you're not being tracked. You're not being validated. You're not safe. You're not safe, literally. Just like I told yesterday, go on lockdown. Wait a minute.
I mean, even an insurance company is going to validate a driver's license, right?
I'm sorry?
Is an insurance company going to validate a driver's license when you purchase insurance for your car?
Oh, well, yes. So for your vehicle personally, so get this. You do know that when you get a rental vehicle, there's an insurance company that they use.
Yes.
So you fill out the form. That insurance company still has to pay, not the rental car company. So that insurance company is paying out. So ironically, I'm thinking, man, these insurance companies don't want this happening either, because, these are illegal drivers. They're not validated drivers, but they have to pay when there's these, mine is the worst you can get. He was killed. But people who are injured for life, paralyzed, they're just all sorts of things happen in vehicular crashes. So the insurance company will pay depending on what you pick on the form. So it's out because there's not a law saying you got to run that driver's license. Now the insurance companies will actually make out when this is made valid, because then it will be correct. It will. Okay, we have them in place here now. So it's kind of strange, because you would think it would be opposite. The insurance company, it would be hollering. And we're not paying because they're not a valid driver. Well, they've said it before, but they can't do anything either unless there's a law. So I don't know why this fell through the cracks. I've just been told maybe it's one of those good old things that we just didn't think about and just totally didn't even consider and never really thought about it, and it fell through the cracks.
Yeah.
And that's the answer I get. I can't get an answer how this has been overlooked. I mean, but why? What? How in the world? To me, it's just common sense.
I mean, Adam can't be the only person out there that has been affected by somebody renting a car without having validated a driver's license.
He is not. Now, I've looked up case law is attached to his petition on change.org, and we have other case laws that we listed where they've tried to take rental car agencies to court. It's cost a lot of money. Imagine them battling. I thought about it. I don't have that money. I don't have a money tree. There are families that have tried, but they don't win because there's not a law. You can't go after the rental car agency unless there's something there in our justice system. How can we take them to court? So there's liability.
Well, they've figured out how to make it lucrative for them. They figured out their loopholes and how to benefit financially off of these
Yes.
off of
And
doing business the wrong
honestly,
way.
it's not that the rental car agencies are bad. It's just that this has been the system and it's been overlooked. And if you don't have to do this and there's no law, then,
Yeah.
keep money because you're already being charged. So it's not that they're bad. It's just that it's something that is just hasn't been done, and it should have already been done.
And how hard is it to just scan a
They
license
want
real
it
quick?
to happen. I think that it's just somehow in this day and age, with all the technology and everything we have, it's overlooked. It's the rental car agencies do not lose anything by making this a law, because they're already getting the profits from you when you rent. So you're already being charged.
Uh-huh.
So you're missing out because they're taking your money to validate, because they have the system, the technology.
And they're not even doing it because they don't have to.
Well, there's no law to do it, so that money is, part of the revenue.
Right.
Was in like 50 billion, like I said. They're not going to lose out by having this law. Like I said, there's insurance to back them up. So, just like us, you got to carry your insurance. So they won't lose out and have to pay and take this on themselves. There'll be the insurance company that's there, and actually everybody wins. Because then you've got the insurance company actually, for people who are valid, in the right situation, doing the right thing. People doing the right thing. And then you've got the rental car agency who's still profiting the same amount of money. So, and they don't have to pay because the insurance company would. If there's a fatality, there's a crash, I have to keep going back to the fatality because of my son, but
it doesn't have to be a fatality.
In many ways in vehicles.
It could be it could even be just a, you lose a leg. You get some sort of traumatic brain injury, and then who are you going to get help from that?
If you're in a rental car, then, it's not much insurance you can check off on there. But you don't. You forever suffer, and you have no recourse whatsoever. And not saying we need to be sue happy in this world, or, I'm trying to, say this is so neutral, so down the lane that it's for everyone, that there's no sides to this. Everybody wins. It's common sense is all it is, really. And I honestly wish I knew.
We're asking the American public to help us out with a law that's going to help all of us. It could help your grandmother was driving down the road one day.
Your niece, your nephew, you're going to the hospital to have your baby, you're coming home.
Somebody hasn't validated their driver's license and rented a car, and they run a stop sign, and next thing you know, you're in the hospital with a traumatic brain injury, or you're dead.
Right. Well, we fly not every day, but we drive every day. So when you're driving beside you, you don't know that person is a person that is the wrong person that should be behind a wheel. And they just rented that vehicle, and it's nonstop. So as much as we drive, and the vehicle, wrecks, the percentages of being harmed in a car wreck versus planes and other modes of transportation is way more. So you're, like you said, you keep saying grandmother, and I think me bringing Adam home from the hospital, me going to have him, or me driving my kids to school and picking up my kids from school, going to the grocery store. You can be just in your area, your neighborhood. He was not even a mile from the base.
Could be in a neighborhood.
He was.
Yeah.
He was literally in a neighborhood about to pull in to leave his motorcycle with his friend because he was going to be in Afghanistan. So he actually was.
Oh, wow. So he was on his way to drop off his bike.
Yes.
And when was he supposed to deploy?
He was literally about to deploy. I'm talking not weeks. I'm talking
a day.
Quick. 24 to 48, 72 hours. I don't want to give the exact timeline there, just to keep our military between OPSEC and all these different things, and so I try to stay out of all the specifics of deployment times, deployment dates, and the unit. It keeps the unit. It thought his unit had to deploy, knowing he had just been killed. And
that was what I was about to ask you. How did it affect those guys?
It messed with them big time.
They didn't have a time to properly to even say goodbye or grieve or any kind of ceremony or
even do a memorial for him.
Yeah.
No. I got in the beginning many messages that scared me. Where I would be up at night because it's different time zone, and worrying about them.
Well, yeah.
That a loss like that, it's like a brotherhood. They're working with each other each day, and then it's like their family, because when you're in the military, you move away from your family. So you're in a town where you don't know anyone. You're in a unit, and you've got your brothers and sisters that you're close to. Some of you not. Some of you are. And you develop a family. So it's a shock. It's traumatic. It's awful. And not everybody can take that, even if you're in the military. I mean, you can be the strongest person in the world, and someone takes someone from you. You don't know until it happens exactly how that you think you do. I used to think that I knew how a Gold Star mom felt. And, man, I thought I knew. I didn't know. I didn't have a clue. I thought I did. I thought I was doing everything I could from my heart. And I genuinely was. But
you just don't know until you're there. I talked to I talked to a Blue Star mom tonight, her and her soldier from TikTok. The other day, I got a message from just a random message from a young patriot, and said, "Hey, I'm going to be up in Lubbock. My mom and I'd like to come see you and just say hi or whatever. I just wanted to support you." So anyway, I went and had dinner with them tonight at Rosa's. And, sat and told Caleb's story. I shared with them all of y'all's stories. And I felt bad because I'm sitting across the table from this Blue Star mother. And I'm just like, I told her, I said, I feel bad, honestly, talking about these things in front of a mother that, I don't want to scare you or frighten you. I feel like I don't know how to relate, maybe, but I don't want to frighten you. But I mean, it's like I feel like I don't know. I don't know how to do it. It's just like you feel bad because it's like you feel like you're letting them down.
Well, here's the weird thing about that.
I don't know.
Today at the Capitol with me was a Blue Star mom, and every time I'd get introduced, they would say, "Oh, here's 2 Gold Star mothers," and I would quickly go, "No, this is a Blue Star mother, which means they're active duty. They're here. I'm the Gold Star mom." So And no.
There needs to be some education on that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother world that is, unless you're in it, this blue and gold and
nobody understands.
Is not understood, but we're all mothers and fathers, and we all have someone that's, if they were taken from us, it just is, it's a traumatic experience, especially when they're taken in the prime of their life. They're young. They are getting out there and, my gosh, signing up to go defend us. And
what a sacrifice.
And being brave and
just to do the trainings.
Yeah, they're not upper level.
Think about what Brandon was doing over there in Navy SEAL training. What all hell he went through.
Yeah, Brandon, Adam, Caleb, young.
Mm-hmm. How old was Adam? Was he like 24 or something like that? How old was he?
Adam was 23.
23.
Yeah.
A baby still.
Yeah. Yes.
And then Brandon was pretty young too.
Definitely. He's always my baby.
Always.
But no, he's got a family or he's with me, or he was my protector too, though. To me, he was, can't explain it. As close as we were, if somebody looked at mom the wrong way or anything, it's like, I got my son.
That's right.
Now it's like, what the heck? Who do I turn to? Because, you've always been mom, and now you've got, someone there that's, you've already taught them, and now it's, time that, you're close, mother and son, mother, daughter, father. It's time to spend time, doing those things that you thought you were going to do. And Adam was the type that, he's going to protect mom no matter what. And everyone else too, by deciding he's going infantry no matter what I said. So, too bad, so sad, Mom. I'm going infantry.
And even the hardest job in the world couldn't kill him.
Exactly.
A young lady who didn't have a valid driver's license and had a bad driving record and didn't stop for a stop sign and was on her cell phone with. She ran a stop sign, and then there goes Adam.
Right.
Right about to leave for, did you say Afghanistan?
Yes.
And, within 24, 48 hours, he was headed out to Afghanistan. He was just driving his motorcycle to a buddy's house to drop it off when he was killed by vehicular homicide.
And he was dropping it off, and his friend was going to let him keep his motorcycle there. And,
hi, Lyric.
That didn't happen because just within minutes before the house, she distracted by phones and distracted by underage children in the front seat. That's another issue.
And they weren't even in a seatbelt or anything, or any kind of a...
Well, I don't know if they were wearing their seatbelt, but, you can't have infants and underage children in your front seat.
Right.
Certain age and certain weight.
So she was putting them at risk.
Cell phone, you're not, that's called distracted driving. So there's a lot of layers to this. Not only, but the driving is the first part, right? She got keys to a car. How did she do that? She rented the car. How did she do that? It's because we don't validate a license. So it all starts
plain and simple. It's just so plain and simple. And it's not just gonna, if you guys will please call your Texas representative. We need eyes. Hi, Smokey. We need you, please, to call your Texas representative or a Texas representative and just mention the Two-Step Act. Say, I support it and I want it. Please, we need it. And if they don't know anything about it, and if you don't know anything about it, please go to the Two-Step Act
on Facebook.
On
it
Facebook.
Has a page. But it is House Bill 3865. You have to remember that right now.
House Bill 3865.
The number. It's not personalized right now.
So okay. So don't call the representative and say Two-Step Act necessarily. Say House Bill 385.
3865.
3865. Okay. Well, I'm going to call my representative tomorrow.
It's going to be on our Facebook. It's already there actually now on our personal one. For you, Terry, and for you, Heather, it's on yours. And the actual law, the bill that's been written, there's a link there that I think, Terry, I don't know if you were able to see it, but it's very simple. It's so basic. There's no red tape. There's no opposition to it from either parties or people to be opposed to it. Everyone we met with today was like, I can't see why this would be turned down. It's just getting it out of the stack. He's a number right now. He's not a person. It's House Bill 3865.
Okay.
And we got to get it personalized.
So
we have to get this number out of that pile. And so that means call a state rep and from anywhere that you live. 3865 Sergeant Adam, Two-Step, Huck-Step, hit combat veteran, Army, validating driver's licenses, the Two-Step Act. There is a lot of information about the Two-Step Act that is out there if you look it up. But right now, House Bill is what we have to use. We have to use this number. And so right now it is on Facebook. And so we'll try to get more and more and more out there. I just got a late call that said, you know what, after meeting with all of these people at the Capitol today here in Austin, we need to get a push on this. Session's about to end. There's too many things to get through.
Session ends at the end of May?
May 31st.
But they're voting on this on Thursday.
And in Texas, it's every 2 years, so I'd have to wait another 2 years.
Another 2 years, okay.
Yes, and so Thursday they have a meeting.
Come on, people, we need you. Let's come together now.
And
smile on your brother. Everybody come together. Gotta love one another right now. So the way we can do that is to please call your state representative. Talk to him about House Bill 2835.
You cut out on me there.
I'm trying to ingrain the number in my head. But
do you have Heather?
What's that?
You do have it or no?
She's trying to remember it.
I'm trying to remember it. It's 2835, right? House Bill 2835.
285.
See, this is bad for dyslexic. This is bad for dyslexic. And I don't have I need to write it down, but I have it in my, I have the link that you sent me. Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Oh, look at this mask, you guys. I love it.
House Bill. Well, I'm not very, I need to iron, but.
3865.
I had to do all that.
I'm going to make a video for you. There you go. House Bill 3865. Thank you for doing that. For those of us that are visual learners like myself.
All day and
It looks so fantastic. Where did you get that?
Hobby Lobby by a lovely lady who stepped up. I have not been feeling well physically. She ran to Hobby Lobby last minute and said, you know what? I have this idea. And you know how many people stopped us literally and said, what is that? And that's how I met someone we really needed to meet today, because they just wanted to know and just said, why didn't we never thought of that?
Hey, Tanya. What we're doing, thank you, Lyric, 3865, House Bill 3865. Hey, Tanya, we are talking about House Bill 3865, which will help all of us. I need you, Tanya, please, tomorrow, please call your representative. I know you can do it, sister. We need to ask them to please support House Bill 3865, which doesn't just protect us, our service members, but it actually protects anyone that is driving a vehicle. Or walking. So the situation is that Tracy, this is okay. Let's see what can people see. This is Tracy. Here we go. This is Tracy. Her son died in a vehicle. I would say it's vehicular homicide. The young lady was driving without a valid driver's license, and she ran a stop sign and killed Adam right before he was about to head out to Afghanistan on deployment. The reason that we need a House Bill 3865 is because they do not validate driver's license when you rent a car, when you rent a vehicle. And so this young lady that inadvertently killed Adam, she had been charged with reckless driving. She was driving, this is not the first time it had happened. She was driving.
It's vehicular homicide, suspended license, and failure to obey traffic laws.
So what we need is they already have the technology to just scan the license and validate it at the rental car company. Did you know that this is not even a law, that they don't have to validate driver's license when you rent a car? I mean, just let your mind go wild, honestly, to what that means. So, yes, Tanya, it's House Bill 3865. House Bill 3865. Now, they don't know it by the Two-Step Act yet. So that's why we need you to say House Bill 3865. Call Jody Arrington. He's our congressman in this area. But then there's 12 committee members. My cat's going crazy. There's 12 committee members that are going to be on this committee to, I guess they're voting on this stuff on Thursday. And so that's why we need everybody right now. Tomorrow morning. Come on, everybody. Come on, get on the horn. Let's do this. Come on.
You know, it's going to be for the next week, 2 weeks too, because at the last minute, we could get them to pull it out of the stack.
Okay, so for the next 2 weeks,
yes,
we need as much attention on this as possible. Tanya, I'm going to be absolutely. I know you will, Tanya. I'm going to post a link here in a few minutes on my Facebook page that you can share, Tanya. And if you're friends with me on Facebook, it's Heather Hedge Baker. That's Heather, Hedge, Hedge Baker, Baker. You can go on my page in a few minutes and you'll be able to share what I'm going to put on there about the Two-Step Act, about Adam. You'll be able to actually probably follow Tracy. You can find her from my page. I will tag you in it, Terry. I'm sorry, Tanya. All these T's. Terry, Tanya, Tracy. Oh my gosh. Heather. I love all my T's. Anyway, so yes, I know you will share that, Tanya, and then this week I'm going to make a little video for Adam. I'll put it on my my TikTok channel. I'll share it. I'll give it to Tracy, and she can share it. But let's get some eyes on this House Bill 3865. And like I said, just call your representative. If you don't know what we're talking about and you just joined us, then look up the Two-Step Act on Facebook. Go to the Facebook and look up the Two-Step Act. Okay?
And I did post a link on the comments here.
Okay, and Terry of the Brandon Act posted a link in the comments here that you can go and check out. Tanya says, hi, Terry. Tanya was Caleb's girlfriend's mama. My Caleb. And she supports you, Terry. If she knew you, she'd support you, Tracy.
Well,
but she knows you now, so she's gonna be all up in your business now. She's got our backs, man.
Yep, support Adam. He's the one that was serving for others, and so it's time to do something back for them.
Yeah, and for just the rest of our people, think about, golly, just any of us could be affected by what happened to Adam. And,
right.
Like I said, how many people are affected by it now? I wonder what the statistics are. It's quite interesting, and we got to get some eyes on it. So for the next 2 weeks, we need to really push hard and just call as many representatives as you can. Talk to them about House Bill 3865, otherwise known as the Two-Step Act. And thank you guys so much for being here. And I'd like to have you on again, Tracy, so that maybe we can push this forward some. Maybe we can set up a time this weekend and I can advertise. I know I'm going to have Terry on tomorrow night. We're going to be talking about her son, Brandon Caserta, of the U.S. Navy. He was, it just gives me chills, honestly. Just thinking about that beautiful patriot and what he did, not just out of his own agony, but out of his own agony, I do feel like he was, in a way, doing something to try to wake everyone up in order to protect other people. I feel like a sacrifice had to be made, sadly, in order to protect other soldiers. And there's so many of you that need the kind of help that Brandon needed and did not get because of toxic, abusive leadership. And we mothers are not okay with how things are going down, and we're not shutting up. We will not shut up. You cannot shut us up. Try it, see what happens. We're just not going to shut up. We are a broken record that is not going to stop. I am a very determined woman. I'm a Texas Army mom. And now I'm a Texas Gold Star Army mom, so deal with it. You did it to yourselves, folks.
Ditto. And every office I went in today, the comment was, "Oh, you're like a dog with a bone." I'm like, yeah, and that bone is not going anywhere.
We're like the watchdogs, the hounds of hell.
Yeah. So that was interesting. That one. I'm like, I'm going to walk down on the floor while they're down there voting and just get the microphone. But I didn't do that.
I know. I tell you what, man. God bless our little hearts.
Your child like that, you do anything, and when something like that and tragedy happens and they're taken from you, I'm the mama, and I've always said it. If it happens to me, I watch out, because I'm not going to let go. But I didn't think it was going to, so I wasn't really worried about it. But I just can't. I can't. I have other children too. I have, you, my friends, my Gold Star friends and sisters that I've met that I'm getting, thank God. We can connect. Can you imagine we just keep losing more and more and more when we've already lost more. You can't put it in words. You just can't put it in words. I can't really put it into words. It changes you, and there is something that needs to be done, and it's very simple, and it's something that will help everyone. And it's just not about anything else that's going on in the world. There's no politics here. There are no sides here. It is about everyone, anywhere. And it's just common sense and decency that, can you take a few minutes and pick up a phone? Can you take a few minutes and, just take an interest? Not only when there's like major crisis on TV or something like that, but because things are happening literally that aren't in the media. So there's some major things going on, and they are things that you find out by real life and not reality shows.
Yeah, and if you really want to know the juicy details of these soldier deaths, you've got to find the parents. You've got to find the families. And here's the deal, is not all of us are willing to talk like this candidly. A lot of parents, they just want to shut down. And I don't blame them, because Lord knows, I just want to shut the whole damn thing down. Yeah. I want to put the blanket over my head. But here's the deal, is I am the mother of a young man who would appreciate me doing that. His death needs to have value, and it can't have value unless I continue his service. And so I am determined to continue my soldier's service and serving others by sharing their stories. And I see Lyric here says that there's no need to apologize. Basically, you all have the right to freedom of speech. Tell the whole world about the corruption is one of the comments right here, Tracy. And then I've got another woman, another sister who says military strong mamas. And so you should know. Yes, we there's people that are commenting and encouraging you, Tracy, and I'm excited to. I'm just going to say that I believe that it's going to pass. I believe that in order to share about your soldier, and not just about him, but about what this loophole that exists. Exists.
It's clear that I totally support our active duty and our veterans.
Absolutely.
This is not about not supporting. We've got active duty soldiers right now in there. They're not up there making all those big decisions. We've got veterans that, the respect level that I have for someone willing to sign up, and it's a blank check for their life. But it's supposed to be not on our soil, and it is not supposed to be what has happened to some of us. And we all have our different things, but I do want to make it clear that I fully support and appreciate and thank and respect our service members.
That's right. And that's why we're doing all of this. That's why we're continuing to not shut up, because here's the deal. The state of our nation is, I think about the thermometer, like our soldiers and their well-being, how they're being taken care of and treated, to me is almost like a barometer for what's happening in our nation. If our soldiers are doing well, if their needs are being taken care of, that they're being used the proper way, You know? I don't know. It's just, this negligence is just ridiculous. It's gotten out of control. And they've created a culture of toxic, abusive leadership and a culture of negligence and half-assedness that it shouldn't exist with such a valiant, elite group of people.
Well, just like even in the civilian world, the things that have been going on in the world, you know, especially this last year, think about that too. So you've got the civilian world, and then you've got leadership. And then people will stand up and movements will start. But when you've got it happening behind, let's say, closed doors, because, you know, it is more tight-knit in the military community. It's just not as advertised unless it's, I want to say the word, but they're all heroes. But unless it's overseas and it is, you know, you've signed up this and, you know, heroic, I hate to say it like that because I feel like they're all heroes, but even just joining, literally, they are.
Absolutely.
But civilians, all these movements, these things that have been happening because of the justice system, if you're not familiar with military, just think of it in that way. Think of, in the civilian world, the things that are going on are because you want justice. Well, same thing. It's just that it's, you know, a whole lot of layers and a whole lot of different areas. And unfortunately, more tape.
And our justice is blocked because of the Ferris Doctrine. So you cannot sue the United States government. Yeah, it's corrupt, Tanya. And Tanya also says this should not exist in the most powerful military in the world.
Ladies, I have to go. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's good. Hey, Terry, we love you so much. I'm gonna get out of here myself. And Tracy, let's do this again in another, maybe this weekend or something sometime. Because like you said, we can get more eyes on it and maybe pull through here at the last minute. Terry, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. We'll pick a time here. If you'll just let me know what a good time is tomorrow. I would say maybe 8:30 Central. Is that okay? Or what's a good time for you?
Here.
Okay, is that a good time for you? Or you want to do 9?
Whatever works for you.
Okay.
Because I think I'm 2 hours behind you.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, I'll make a video. Probably one of your I'll do a duet or something with you, and we'll do some advertisement for it tomorrow night. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for listening.
Yes.
All right.
You.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye. Bye everyone.